Sorry about that. I had a bit of a glitch there. Um, I'm actually not sure what happened, but Anne, I hope you found your way back. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Barbara Moore, and I have COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. I have lived with it for probably 20 years. And hi, Beverly, how are you today? And I also have a few comorbidities of that, which is hi, Janice, which is heart failure, low kidney function. I have an inflammatory disease called rheumatoid arthritis, and we deal with this stuff on a day to day basis. I am from Southern Ontario, Canada, or Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Somebody asked me if I was ashamed of saying that I was from Hamilton, and I'm not. But I just think most people probably don't know where I am. But actually, Hamilton's a pretty big city. So next to Toronto would be Hamilton, right? So I'm from Hamilton, Ontario. I'm born and raised here, and raised my kids here, and my family lives here. And hey, from Colorado. Nice, Cindy. Nice of you to join us today. We're hoping to get some nice weather. Who knows if it's going to come or if it's going to stay or if Mother Nature is still pissed. I swear to God, she's pissed. Hamilton is a beautiful city. Um, one of the problems with Hamilton is that we have major hospitals, and we have 4 major hospitals in Hamilton. And so what happens with that? It sounds like such a good plan, and it is. If you live here, you are lucky, 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 because anytime that you need health care, it is at your fingertips. And no matter what you need, it's here. Problem is that the step down. Oh, Annie, are you here too? We should get together for a coffee. Um, so Hamilton has all these hospitals, which is fabulous, but people come from all over the place. And because they're world renowned for what they do, so the general is a burn and head trauma. St. Joe's is kidney and lungs. Um, the general's heart. So people come from all over the place. And when you are released from hospital, the step down programs are here. So it means that we're being introduced to a variety of people from all walks of life. And that is Hamilton, right? So, yeah, not ashamed of living in Hamilton at all. Absolutely not. So, anyways, today I wanted to talk about being and maintaining positivity. As an adult educator, and I was an adult educator, I taught college level for about 15 years. Thank you, Letta. I appreciate it. Oh, nice, Kathleen. I had no idea you were that close. Um, so, as an adult educator, I learned very early on that no matter what age you are, we all need to learn the same way. We need to learn in small chunks, and we need to take one step forward and one step back. This is how, even as an adult, when we're learning stuff, we are learning new things all the time. And as most of us have seen in our lifetime, it was necessary for us to reinvent ourselves. I can't be the only one who did it. I reinvented myself several times. And in order to do that, you had to learn. You had to learn the ropes. You had to learn how it went. You had to learn how to do it. And so I learned a lot by teaching adults. You think people make it look so easy. You listen to the lecture and you just go do it. Well, that's not the case with most of us. And for most of my students, anyways, it was not the case. So we learn in small chunks and we practice quite a bit. And when we're talking about positivity, we're talking about mindfulness. It is the only way that we can maintain positivity when we have COPD. Oh, Patrick, I'm so sorry to hear that. That is the deepest cut. Patrick has alpha 1. I have a couple of friends from COPD Net that have it, alpha 1, and that is the hereditary version of COPD. It interferes with liver, I think, or kidneys, liver or kidneys, anyways. So when we talk about mindfulness, and I know I've talked about it a lot before, but I still think that we don't get it. I still think that we need more practice. And the way that I practice mindfulness is I do my breathing exercises every day. I don't wait until I get short of breath, because what happens is when you practice your breathing, pursed lip breathing, and no, Rose, there was a glitch in YouTube. There was a glitch in YouTube. It wasn't you, or I don't know. It was probably something that I did. So, anyways, when you learn to breathe, so I'm talking about pursed lip breathing and changing the way that you breathe by paying attention to your breath. Very often, what happens, and I've asked a couple of people this, when we get up to do something or when we plan to do something, we hold our breath. Have you noticed that? That, you go to walk across the room and for some reason you're holding your breath. They told me this the first day that I walked into respiratory rehab. They said, you got to stop holding your breath. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. But as I started to pay attention to it, I started to realize that as I was walking across the room or when I was exercising, I was holding my breath. And so my biggest chore then was not the exercises, but learning to breathe through them. I've since learned quite a bit, and I learned it from my respiratory rehab at Compass Health and Lung Health Foundation. I've attended both of them virtually. And learning to breathe and to breathe through the exercise, breathe through what you're doing, because if you're holding your breath, you are causing more shortness of breath, or you're causing your breathlessness to be shorter. It doesn't do any good. And what happens when we start to do that? We start to feel our heart pounding, right? Because we're not getting enough oxygen in there. So learning to sit down and learning to breathe through it is really, really important. So as we're lifting weights or as we're moving our arms and legs, we have to be conscious of the breath. And practicing being conscious of your breath will help you for when you get short of breath. When you get short of breath, you can do two things. You can panic, or you can be mindful, pay attention to the moment, take control of it, and then let it pass. So it doesn't mean that we don't do anything, but it means that if we are conscious of what is happening, and if we are paying attention to what is happening, we will be able to control it. And then we will remember what happened. So, since I started to practice my breathing techniques and practice my breathing every day, so you know when you'll know when you're doing it properly, when it becomes your go-to, when you get short of breath, you will be so versed in learning to catch your breath that it will just come naturally to you. And what will happen is that you will see your stomach going in and out. This means that you're doing it properly. And who of us does not need practice in that? One of the things that we have learned along the way is that we're not very mindful. We're not willing to allow things to happen just as they should happen or as they are going to happen. We are not good at sitting back and observing what is happening. We're always trying to change the moment. And I wanted to read something that those of you who've been following me for a while will remember Carol Kirker. She was my co-author and my very, very good friend. And she sent me this in 2020. It actually came up in my memories, and it's from a website called Teo and Zen, Tao and Zen. It says mindfulness. The Chinese character is composed of two parts: the top, which means now and this, and the bottom, which signifies heart and mind. Mindfulness is the quality and power of mind that is aware of what's happening without judgment and without interference. So, what we're doing is we're watching what's happening. We're not judging it. We're not interfering with it. We're just allowing it to happen. It's like a mirror that simply reflects whatever comes before it. It serves us in the humblest ways, keeping us connected to brushing our teeth and having a cup of tea. It keeps us connected to the people around us so that we're not simply rushing by them in the busyness of our lives. We can start the practice of mindfulness meditation with a simple observation and feeling of each breath. Find a quiet place, have a seat, observe what is happening with your breath, listen to the breath, feel the breath. Don't try and change it. Just listen to it. Breathing in, we know what we're breathing in, and breathing out, we know we're breathing out. It's that simple. After just a few breaths, we hop on trains of association, getting lost in plans, memories, judgments, and fantasies. The habit of a wandering mind is very strong, even though our reveries and are often not pleasant and sometimes not even true. So it means that the things that we're thinking about, the things that we are investing our mind on, are often things that are never going to happen. They are the figment of our imagination or the things that our brain tells us is going to happen. As Mark Twain so aptly put it, some of the worst things in my life have never happened. So we need to train our minds, coming back again and again to the breath and begin breathing again. Nothing is truer than the breath. Slowly, though our minds steadily, and we begin to experience some space of inner calm and peace. This environment of inner stillness makes possible a deeper investigation of our thoughts and emotions. Just think about this. If you can be still in the moment, you can observe what is going on. This environment of inner stillness makes possible a deeper investigation of our thoughts and emotions. Why are we thinking these things? Why is this happening? Why do I think that everything that's going to happen is going to be bad? What is a thought? That strange, empirical phenomenon that can so dominate our lives. What is a thought? When we look directly at the thought, we see that it is little more than nothing, something that we just conjured up in our brain. Yet when it is unnoticed, it yields tremendous power. How many times have you been out and thought, I'm not going to get to the toilet? If I try to go there, I'm going to wet my pants. I will be too breathless to get there. These are all figments of your imagination that are never really going to come to fruition. And yet, and yet we give them power. Notice the difference between lost in a thought and being mindful that we're thinking. Becoming aware of the thought is like waking up from a dream or coming out of a movie theater after being absorbed in the story. Through mindfulness, we gradually awaken from the movies of our minds. And this was written by Joseph Goldstein. Excellent, excellent rendition of what mindfulness is. So we have to learn how to control the moment while we control our breath. And I have to tell you that since I have learned this, there has been no greater peace in my mind than when I get short of breath and I no longer panic. I used to panic so much that I would have somebody call an ambulance. Call an ambulance. I can't call an ambulance. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. And I would get myself into such a terrifying situation that I'd end up in the hospital being intubated. Thank God I learned to get past that. And I did it by practicing mindfulness. Please like and subscribe to my page. It makes a big difference when I have subscribers and people who like and share my Tuesday Tea Time talks. I appreciate everybody who has joined me today. And if you have any questions, don't forget to ask them in the comments below. I would be happy to answer any questions that you have. So don't forget me. This happens every week. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.